All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today we're taking a look at Google's brand new AI model, AlphaEarth. Now, people are calling it this revolutionary new way to map and understand our planet. So let's actually dig in and see what that's all about.
Okay, so at its very core, AlphaEarth is not just another mapping tool. You gotta think bigger. Imagine it's like a foundational layer for the entire planet. A virtual satellite that takes all this messy, super complicated data from dozens of real satellites and different sources and just fuses it all into one clean, really intelligent map.
So to really wrap our heads around this, we're going to break it down into 5 parts. First, we'll look at the problem AlphaEarth is trying to solve. Then we'll get into the secret sauce, this fingerprint technology. After that, we'll see how it's already being used to change the world. And finally, we'll look at the future, what this could become. We're talking a true search engine for the Earth. All right, let's jump in. And to really appreciate just what a huge leap forward this is, we've got to first understand the old way of doing things, which, to put it mildly, was just incredibly difficult. So for decades, right, analyzing satellite data has been, well, a total mess. It was this manual, fragmented process. You needed whole teams of experts just to painstakingly clean and stitch together all this information from different sources. And every single source had its own quirks and problems. So what did that actually look like in practice? And wow, the contrast here is it's stark. Look at the left side. That's the old way. A scientist would have to manually assemble all these images, then filter out the clouds, then calculate specific metrics, then correct for atmospheric haze. I mean, it is a multi-step, expert-driven nightmare. And then you look at the right, that's the AlphaEarth way. It's basically one step. Just use the analysis-ready data. And that is the core idea here. AlphaEarth just automates away all of that complexity. It handles the clouds, it fills in the data gaps, it deals with all the different sensor types. It does it all for you, so you get this consistent, intelligent map to work with right from the get-go. So, the big question is, how on earth does it do all that? Well, this is where things get really, really cool. Let's take a look at the secret sauce behind AlphaEarth's power. Okay, the magic of AlphaEarth, the real key to taking the staggering complexity of our entire planet and compressing it into something actually usable, it all comes down to one single number: 64. See, AlphaEarth creates what's called an embedding for every single 10 by 10 meters square of land on the entire planet. And this embedding is a unique vector of 64 numbers. Think of it like a rich digital fingerprint that perfectly captures the essence of that one specific spot over a whole year. And to create this fingerprint, it fuses just an incredible amount of different data. We're talking optical images, radar that can actually see through clouds, 3D laser measurements, climate data, and get this, even text from geotagged Wikipedia articles. It takes all of that, processes it, and compresses it down into that single 64-number summary. And this is exactly why that compression is so incredibly powerful. I mean, it's not just about making the data smaller, although needing 16 times less storage is pretty amazing on its own. It's really about making the data smarter. It's context-aware, so it actually understands that a strip of asphalt is a highway and not a parking lot because it sees what's around it. And it's temporally rich, which is a fancy way of saying it captures the rhythm of the seasons, like when crops are growing and then being harvested. Okay, so this all sounds fantastic in theory, right? But what does it actually mean for the real world? Well, the applications are where this technology really truly comes to life. Let's see the kind of impact it's having. Because these embeddings are so darn versatile, they are already transforming how decisions get made across all these critical sectors that affect every single one of us. We're talking everything from how we grow our food to how we protect our cities and our most fragile ecosystems. Let's take a real-world example: conservation. There's this really well-known initiative in Brazil called Mapiomas, and they're using these embeddings to get a much faster, much deeper understanding of what's happening with deforestation and land use change in the Amazon. And the experts on the ground? They are absolutely seeing the difference. The founder of Mapiomas actually said that this tech lets them produce maps that are more accurate and more precise than they've ever been able to do before. And get this, it turns a process that could take years into something that just takes a few weeks. It's also being used to proactively manage risk, which is huge. Researchers were able to ask the map this incredibly powerful question. They said, show me places in Arizona that have the exact same environmental fingerprint as these known wildfire hotspots over in California. So how well did that work? Well, the risk map they created had a 0.75 correlation with the official federal data. I mean, for this kind of work, that is a really strong signal. It's a brand new way to predict risk before a disaster even strikes.
And, this isn't just some internal project at Google. Just look at who's already using it. We're talking about major global players like the UN's Food and Agriculture Organization and top-tier researchers at places like Stanford and Harvard. They're all jumping on this to tackle some of the world's biggest, toughest challenges.
But you know what? This is really just the beginning. The potential of this technology is just massive. It's opening up entirely new ways for us to interact with our planet's data.
I mean, think about it for a second. We search the internet with words every single day, right? What if you could search the actual physical world? What if you could upload a photo of, say, a specific landscape and find every other place on Earth that shares its unique fingerprint? This is what could lead to a true search engine for Earth. It could power these near real-time dashboards showing the planet's health. Or it could enable an AI assistant where you could ask these really complex questions in just plain English. You can ask, show me where forest loss is accelerating and how that might affect local water supplies. And boom, you get a map and a clear answer right back. By giving every single point on this planet a rich, data-driven voice, AlphaEarth is moving us one huge step closer to that reality. And it leaves us with a pretty powerful final thought. For the very first time, we are building the tools to actually have a conversation with our planet. So, what would you ask?